This is actually a very serious issue. If someone is caught, Big Daddy Nintendo is gonna have to step in. It's gonna cause quite a shitstorm. Hi everyone, it is Hbox here, and I am filming this from a hotel room in Las Vegas because I'm here for the Esports Awards. It is very sunny outside, so sunny that I'm demanding everyone watching this video sees it. But the important part about this isn't the sun, the weather, where I'm at. The important part of this video is actually where the online Ultimate community is at. Now usually when it comes to Smash Bros. News, Ultimate Online isn't really there too often. Probably has to do with, you know, right now, Melee Slippy Rank came out, which I'm probably going to talk about, or the real life tournament scene. But in this case, this is definitely worth talking about because I'm the guy who hosts Hungrybox, which is the biggest online Ultimate series, or actually the biggest online fighting game weekly series in the world. So what happened this week was actually pretty monumental. A lag reduction mod was made for HDR, and HDR is open source. If you don't know what it is, HDR is basically one of the most popular mods for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I have a few videos on my channel of me playing it. Imagine PM and the same like Melee-esque physics and graphics that they gave to Brawl, but now all that applied to Ultimate. And it actually plays and handles pretty well. Only thing is, when you have something like HDR and mods, of course you're gonna have people experimenting and seeing how far they can push the game and what is and isn't possible. Until now, HDR was sort of done, you know, within its space, but now it is open source, and now the lag reduction mod is available. And the thing is, you're able to use this lag reduction mod on Elite Smash. You can use your modded version against unmodded switches, and they wouldn't be able to tell for most of the time. The HDR team actually debated releasing it separately, but it wasn't sure if it was the right idea for fairness. And of course, given the negative connotation of Nintendo seeing it and being aware of what's going on. But if they didn't release it separately, it would only be a matter of time until someone did, since HDR is open source. And that said person might not release it to the same quality or stipulations of the HDR team doing it. So for those of you that are more curious, the mod can make online play experience better by lowering the frame delay. Ultimate assigns a minimum of 4 frames regardless, even if the ping between two people is low enough that a 1 frame delay connection could work. There's always a minimum of 4 frames. However, when you use this mod, it only affects the person using the mod, meaning that if someone's modded and using this and they have a low ping connection, they can be playing on a 1 frame delay while their opponent is still stuck on Ultimate's default 4 frame. That's a 3 frame advantage, which is actually huge for a game like Smash Bros. So the person that's using the mod essentially has a frame advantage. I don't know if you've ever in tournaments, you know, I'm playing on the setup. Sometimes you can actually look at the screen above you, like the big projector screen, and you do an input, and you'll see on the big screen, you know, like Puff doing the input, but it's a little bit delayed, right? Because it has to go through all the wires and everything to make the big display work. And of course, on your monitor or on your CRT, it's instant. So that effect of seeing that slight delay is probably what is the difference of what we're experiencing here. And a frame advantage in a fighting game is the biggest advantage possible. So this has the potential to hurt the gameplay experience if it's used incorrectly. Now, if the ping between the two players is a bit high and someone sets their input delay too low, then that will introduce the skips and stutters into the gameplay experience that might have not otherwise happened if they were using a higher, or of course the Ultimate default assigned input delay. Imagine if people across the country, Florida to California, were facing off, but one of them set their input delay to 1. This could actually make their connection worse. So now this has opened up a very slippery slope. It's the sort of idea where, because there's no built-in way for the game to detect that you're using it, people could just run off and do this. And for the coin box, I have no way of preventing someone from using this mod and getting a frame advantage over every single person in the tournament. And this is a $2,000 event. This is like actually, this of course is the most lucrative weekly in Smash or fighting games. So of course, people who want that chance to win it, they have nothing to lose by doing it, right? If you had a guy like Sonics or any of the guys who always plays high in the tournament use it, they would play it really well. The other guy would just think they're being outplayed, and that's it. It's as if all your opponents suddenly had slightly faster reaction time. That's what this mod is doing. So, what is the solution here? The solution here would be honor code, but let's be honest, I don't really see that working too much. I believe TOs are going to put into place for online tournaments that if you're caught using it, you're permanently banned, blacklisted, whatever it might be, for everything else too. I would agree that's probably a safe solution. Like if one person is caught, that name goes to everywhere. They can no longer enter the coin box. They can no longer enter, any of the other online tournaments happening, Fate's Domain, or the ones that you see usually on Start GG. There will be like a universal ban list for them, and that would probably incentive enough and scarily enough of a counter incentive, right, or of a consequence for people to not use this mod. But here's the thing. And I repeat this again, how would we be able to tell, right? Like, to me, HDR is a great thing. To me, any mod of a game like Smash Bros. To make it more unique is a great thing. Obviously, Nintendo doesn't think so, and I don't know why they would in the first place. Because, that involves, like, taking their own property and tweaking it, right? But a 4-frame advantage online that you wouldn't normally have, to me, that's pretty wild. And to me, this mod was supposed to be just part of HDR. And by backporting this to Ultimate, one guy did it, released it, and then dipped after 10 minutes. In other words, the rest right now isn't like publicly available, from some big source. To get this mod, you have to like ask the right people for it. It's kind of like this, like, don't talk about it, but here it is on the back. And if someone out there is caught like sort of, sharing that resource to everyone, then do we get angry at them, or is the can of worms already open, right? What I think is going to, even though the solution is honor code, what I think is going to happen is kind of like, in the Olympics, for like one person is like, well, now there's a rule for it, but like back then, because one person in the Olympics was using steroids for an advantage, and there was no way to enforce counter steroids measure, everyone else had to also do steroids in order to keep up, and it was an ugly situation, but you had to do it to win. That's where I don't want this to get to. I don't want it to get to it's like, oh, you're not modded up, dude. You're still playing on that awful delay. Look at this guy. Granted, I wish this was the standard. I wish everyone, or Nintendo in general, could have simply released this option to not necessarily need that input delay, right? Of course, they did it for a reason, and of course it's there because most likely they knew the capabilities of their console, and they knew how often, especially, let's not talk about the Brawl days, they knew how often a trash connection can occur between two players. And in the past, it's online, it's fun, you just play it casually, but now, there's big tournaments, there's coin boxes, there's money involved. And for some people, this is like a living for them. So this is actually a very serious issue. And if someone is caught using this mod when it explicitly is not allowed, it's gonna cause quite a shitstorm for their brand, for PR, and just the state of things in general. And if too many people use it, Big Daddy Nintendo is gonna have to step in, and that's the last thing we want. So, I don't know. Let's hope the community does the right thing here, and oh man, we're gonna need some new rules in place very, very soon. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you gonna download it? Are you gonna try it out? Are you gonna, be part of the wave? Do you think it's at this point a necessity to download this mod and not have anyone know? Or do you think there's a way to counteract this and get back to the standard thing that it was? The bad part is about all this is that less input delay is a great thing. It's a great thing to have a better online experience. Slippy proved this with Melee. Now, Ultimate, with this mod, especially if it's easy to, get mod, easy to download, easy to mod your console or your game. If it's simple, it makes it that much more accessible. Sometimes you had to do a lot of crazy changes to your game to even make it work. Whereas Slippy is you download 2 files and congrats, you're online. So let's hope we figure out a solution to this before it gets out of control. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Stay hungry. See you next time.